Hello, my name is Kayhanah St. Victor, and I would like to present to you my creative critical reflection. The opening scene. My group members are Malik Dillard, Benjamin DeVerna, and Travis Brown. We all work together on a thriller called Hit List. Hit List is about a boy who has mental illness and has been bullied all throughout high school. As you can probably tell, this is not the best combination. He makes a hit list to get revenge on all the people who wronged him. We stuck to the convention of a mentally ill, bullied, hurt killer with the revenge trope. We used different angles such as close-ups, for example, in our first scene and shot to portray the immense emotion and conviction on the killer's face. We also used foreshadowing to communicate that this is the first victim of many. The cinematography used, such as the tilt down in our last scene from a low angle to reveal the body, the mise-en-scène, like the muted tones and colors that our actors wore, the eerie sound of the music in the background, and the editing, such as the ripple effect used, indicating the flashback to come up with our finished product. The opening scene. The cast and crew. The leading cast is Malik Dillard as Gerard Jenkins and Benjamin Brown as Cameron, our antagonist. The crew is the director, me, the music composer, Benjamin, the costume and production designer, me, the editors were me and Benjamin, the associate producer was Travis, the executive producer was Malik, and the producer and writer were both me. Conventions. The conventions of a thriller are usually that the film is in black and white. It also invokes anxiousness within the viewer, as well as the desolate music in the background. We also communicated this through the title sequence. We use fading in with the letters and red lettering and distressed thin font. At first, we were not going to do this. We were going to make the letters look like they were writing themselves one at a time. But this posed to be futile because no matter what we tried and all the techniques we found on YouTube, nothing worked with what we were trying to go for. We also were going to strike through the word with a red strike through line through the white lettering. But that also did not work because we could not find a suitable red line to strike through the words hit list. So we compromised using red letters, a font that looks like handwriting, and each letter fading in one at a time. Marketing and rating. Since our opening does have violence, we would not market our opening toward children. It would mostly be targeted toward adults, true crime lovers, people who love a story, so on and so forth. We would also be marketing this through social media because of how mainstream it is and how normalized it is into our society that many people would be able to see it and our film would be able to get out there more quickly. And since, again, we are marketing towards an older age group, we would still be using posters and advertisements like on TV and so on. How did your production skills develop throughout this project? I believe that I learned how to pick apart what I'm doing so that I am able to clearly present my meaning. To give an example, I made our original opening. I came up with the concept and idea, and my group members trusted me to direct this original opening correctly. Our original opening was awful, to put it bluntly, awful. It had no meaning. We could not communicate it correctly and clearly. We put too much in the opening, relying too much on our audience to understand what we were trying to communicate to them. I understood as the director what I was trying to communicate, But as a viewer, you know nothing about our film, and I relied too much on you to understand the little cues and clues that I would only understand as the director. So I believe I learned to do more research, for one, before I dive in. And I also learned that I cannot rely too much on the viewer to understand what I'm trying to say. I have to portray to you what I'm trying to say through my angles, shots, and mise-en-scène. How does your project engage with the audience? We purposely made our opening a foreshadow. We wanted our audience to think, why is this happening? Is this going to happen again? And what drove him to do this heinous act? When we were researching openings of a thriller, we saw that they usually put these little clues within the opening that some people may spot and some people may not. But some people think that they are so insignificant that it will not pop up later. And then, to your surprise, they do. And they have significance later. And I thought that was amazing the way that they did that. So we wanted to replicate that through our opening. And we made it a foreshadowing. We made sure to make him only cross out one name and have other names under it to give off the impression that, oh, he did this once. Since there are other names under this one name he crossed out, he's going to do it again until all the names are crossed off. We wanted our viewer to be engaged, sitting at the edge of their seat to figure out what's going to happen. Is he going to get caught? If anybody's going to find out it's him. We wanted our audience to be in tune with our opening, which is essentially what a thriller is supposed to do. How did you integrate technologies, software, hardware, and online in this project? We used WeVideo, for one, to edit our opening. WeVideo was very user-friendly. We found it easy to maneuver and understand. The editing and the way we use the technology, it taught me a lot. It taught me, one, not to rely too much on editing, because with my original opening, we relied too much on the editing to communicate what we were trying to tell our audience, instead of communicating that through our shots and angles. So yes, the editing did teach me that I could not rely too much on it, because there's only so much that it could do. To make our thriller truly feel like a thriller, I had to lower the quality, because we did work on our opening on my phone. I have an iPhone 13 Pro Max, and the camera is very clear and sharp. So we used CapCut to take away saturation and add sharpness. We also changed it from 4K to 180 and in some cases 720p, so that we can really get the graininess and the eerie feel that a thriller is supposed to give our audience. Scripts. With my original script, I added too much, and again, I had no meaning. I did not truly understand what a thriller was. My original opening was a mystery thriller, and we did not completely understand what that meant. We did not do significant research on it. And so, as I said before, we added too much into our opening, and our original had about 4 pages, which is unacceptable for a thriller, especially since conventionally a thriller has no dialogue. So there should be no need for every single scene to have dialogue. There was no eerie music in the background. It was very bland and dull, and the lighting was very bland and dull. And our scripts, the before and after, truly show that, because my after script, it's 1 page and 2 scenes. It has no dialogue, just eerie music, and you should be able to understand and grasp everything that we are trying to communicate through facial expressions and shots and music and angles and build-up and clues. And I added this because I wanted to really show the difference between little research and a lot of research. And that even though I did a little bit of research, I ended up with far more than I needed. And because I did a lot of research, I ended up with exactly the perfect amount. And that just happened to be less than what I originally did. And this is just the before and after of my original and my new opening. Paranoia was our original opening at first, and then when we did more research and truly understood what a thriller was, we changed it to Hit List. So I'll just play a snippet.
Someone is trying to kill me. Malik, go to the guidance counselor.
Come on in. Please take a seat. I really don't know what to do anymore. We have done everything we can. We've sent you to therapists and counselors, and I know that you've had a really rough time. We set you up with a grief counselor and he died, and it's been really difficult for you, and it's given you a really hard time.
Actually, he did such a good job that I don't care anymore. And as for my sister, my mom raised me as the only child, so.
You keep lying to us, and no matter how we try to help you, you just won't take our help. I think at this point you need to leave and just think about things.
Here you got called again.
It's whatever. I'm not really worried about it anymore.
I'm starting to worry about you. We're never like this.
You know what, man? I don't really want to talk about this no more.
This stops at like 6 on in the nighttime.
What? If I don't come to school tomorrow, you know why. Are you okay? What are you thinking?
As you can see in my original opening, there was no music. Once again, none of the shots are conventional. And it was just bland. I thought of it as just, I just have to do it, and they're going to understand what I'm trying to say. But I didn't think in the viewer's perspective, and that was my fault as the director. When I began to think of the film as an essay, I truly understood and grasped what I was supposed to do. For example, the opening is our hook, and we're supposed to hook our audience in. And that's not what I did when I thought of this opening. I didn't hook you in. I relied too much on the ending where it said, you're next. I relied too much on that at the end. to tell you what's going to happen the rest of the film, and just the beginning was just all bland. It basically gave off the impression of just a normal troubled teenager. And that's not what I was trying to present to my audience. That's not what I was trying to tell you. That's not what I was trying to show you. And it was too much dialogue, too much talking for a thriller. No conventional lighting, no low lighting, no low angles. And it just showed me when I rewatch it, it just shows me how much I've grown when I'm looking at my new opening. And I'll just play that. At first, with the hit list title, I was going to strike it through with a line that we did find. We ended up finding one line that we were going to use, but it was too cartoonish and it didn't give the feel of a thriller. And now that I'm looking back on it, I'm happy that me and my group made that decision. And when you look at these two openings side by side, you can really see a difference. In the original opening and in the new opening, I am proud of how much work I put in both, but I am more proud of our new opening, because not only did we work and work on it, not only did we just truly did research and work on it, we were going to turn in something that we're actually proud of. Because I remember when making my original opening, I was stressed out so much because I was too scared that it's going to be awful. I'm going to communicate it awfully and communicate what I'm trying to say awfully, like terribly. And I realize now I only had so much fear because of the lack of research that I had. And I'm happy about how much I've grown. I'd like to thank my teacher for teaching me everything I needed, and my group members for reminding me that I shouldn't be putting so much on myself and just stick to convention, and it won't be that hard if I just do things conventionally. Even if I don't follow convention, it shouldn't be that hard if I stick to why I didn't follow convention and why that makes sense. One more thing, in my original, if you can see the difference between the very first few seconds in each opening, the way I introduced as the editor, the way I introduced the credits are different. The way that I introduced the film is different. When I made the opening screen for the original, I added definitions to like give the impression, oh, he's in school. I added red because of death. I added the vivid cool filter to give that sad feeling because something sad is going to happen. And as a viewer, you will never think of that. You wouldn't ever think of that. I added the clock because time is running out. You wouldn't ever think of that as the viewer. And when I started thinking about that in that perspective, it really gave me some insight. It gave me some sight about how I'm supposed to communicate this so others will understand, not just me. So I took that in consideration as well when making our new opening and just went for something more simplistic and conventional, but still easy to follow. Thank you for watching. Again, my name is Kayhanah St. Victor, and this is my CCR.